Good afternoon, this is Jamie Menars, and this is a PD I have done for kindergartners, writing reports in kindergarten. I think it's a really good topic because students love to learn. I created this PD on a blog because I think it's the best way to learn. It stays up, people can interact with it. So here we go. Writing reports in kindergarten. Welcome. Kindergarten seems to be so much about pictures, art, and more pictures. However, these small students want to write as well, and they should be doing it for a purpose. Literacy is a remarkable way to have students writing, but so are field trips. So recently, we went to the Shed Aquarium, and being there for the first time for many, and touching live aquatic animals was such a highlight for them. We're also in our classrooms growing caterpillars, and we are writing constantly. We're journaling what we see and discovering more and more. I have adapted 3 segments of writing reports into my own type of unit and have used the students' experiences in our classroom to extend them. Every student has a way of thinking and observing and learning, and their writing outcomes will be different. So that's something that I really want to reflect on in this, because no matter what we think they should be writing, our meaning that we construct will never be the same as theirs. So here's the first activity I would like you to do with your group. So the first step to helping students, especially our young learners, become successful is that as an educator, we have to realize that they will construct meaning completely different from we do. As an example, I'm going to give you this passage, and I want you, and if you're with a group, to just take a few minutes, read it over, and fill in the blanks for yourself. So I know what you're thinking. So the problems that confront parents in raising children is what I first thought. So hopefully you've done it. I'm going to cross the line soon. Make sure you fill in all the blanks before I cross this line. Now, read it over, and did you get those same results? The problems that confront poultrymen in raising chickens? I don't think so, because I know I didn't. And as you can see, we have all constructed different meanings from this text. And as someone, I completed this task once, and I too felt like, wow, how could this be? So I want you to see that the goal of this professional development is for teachers to see that students can see themselves as writers. They can develop a genuine feeling for writing, its power and purpose, and they have a strong sense of audience. I want students to be able to talk and reflect and know that there's people that are listening to them. At the end of each unit, I will hoping that students will assess themselves as well as I will be assessing them. It's very important for them to see whether they have done everything they needed. So I did put the standards up, and I did put a credit to whom I got some of the lessons from, and um, some of the sheets, the reports. So here we go. If you can please click here, this is where you start. So our first report is science exploration. It's one of the most fascinating things students can do. Journaling is a major part of our classroom routine in the spring, which leads to so much writing. Before I began this lesson, I created different discovering the senses activities. While we are growing flowers at the moment, I allowed them to feel the dirt and smell it. For the taste, it was a marshmallow, and how did that feel? Also, what did it smell like, and did you hear anything when you ate it? Different sensory activities will allow the students to use their 5 senses while completing the apple report. So here are some of the materials I used. And the objectives for each of my reports is that students participate in research, which we did, record their discoveries, which is their journaling, and sharing with others. So the lesson goes as follows. We we may work alone or in pairs, but I decided for students to work in pairs. They needed an apple form, and since my students are majority bilingual, I translated most of the reports to Spanish, and sometimes I changed some of them. We measured, smelled, and we also tasted And I was hoping when they bit into the apple that they heard. They used their hearing sense. Excuse me. So here's a video. You can see this on your own time. Here's a video of some of the lesson and how it went. Although you do not see me as much, I am the one speaking in both English and Spanish so that many can understand what I'm saying. I have also attached some of the reports completed by my students. The lessons went very well, and we were able to use all our senses by eating the apple at the end. The students enjoyed this type of lesson because it was interactive and they were able to partner up and measure the weight of their apples against others. Taking notes on the report was a challenging task for some, but students had to be reminded to try and read the words. Literacy is a big part of all of this. So I have different forms attached here, and as you click on their names, you can see each and every one of them. So here's my student. This was the report. It's mi manzana es color, means my apple is which color. They had 3 colors to choose from. Some apples are 2 colors, so she circled 2. They measured with little cubes their apples. They also measured their apples with a string. And then they told me who they measured their apple against and whether it was heavier or lighter. And then they told me what it tasted like, and of course, our seeing observation, they drew me an apple. Each of my students did this, and I posted 2 others for you to see. But now it's time to go on to the animal report. This report I think they enjoyed because animal exploration is some things we do on a constant basis. We do it every day with our caterpillars that are now turned into chrysalises, and now we recently went to the Shed Aquarium and we'll be going to the zoo. But it was the first time for many of the students. It was an actual experience that will help this journaling, because although we're researching the animals, nothing impacts them like seeing it for themselves and having that experience of even touching some animals. So this activity I turned into a field trip report where we examined some of the animals we saw at the aquarium and learned further about them through sites like Discovery Education and reading several nonfiction books that I have found on Amazon and through various libraries. The Magic School Buses are some of the videos that I really enjoy because it talks about the different animals, especially aquatic animals that we were learning about. So once again, we were participating in research, discovering, and sharing the information with others. The research began at the aquarium and continued when we named the animals we saw. The students and I were able to make a class chart of the animals we saw and which one they would like to learn more about. So through that, we then I tried to choose 3 animals before made our top list. The students drew a picture of the animal, discussed their habitats, what they eat, and what they liked about the animal. Students were able to talk to others about their animals and maybe even at the families the next family events. So here's pictures and videos. I put 2 videos up of my classroom when we're discussing the report, but also here's the chart that we created together, and I have little dots next to some of them because those are the ones they voted on. So the ones they voted on the most are the ones we chose to journal about, and we watched videos on them, we wrote on them, and it was very exciting. I also posted examples of their reports, so you can click on these and you can view them for yourself. And our last report is a Let's Riddle. So writing is a big part of what the students should be doing, but a major part of their learning experience is listening and rhyming. We have read several rhyming short stories, poem, and literature throughout the entire year. As a review, I went through the several that coincide with the stories of the week. We will be using animals we chose during our field trip report to write a riddle. The students enjoy making funny stories all the time, but let's just see how they'll enjoy writing them. So we began by remembering once again some of the animals we researched. We looked at our chart that was once created just a few classes before, and then we decided to make a list of words that rhyme with some of the animals. For example, of course this is in Spanish again, delfín, calcetín, pato, gato, pez, mes, pulpo, cupo, medusa, blusa, mar, tirar, pingüino, lingüino. These are things they came up with, and it was a really good assignment to see if they could come up with words on their own that rhymed. The purpose was for the students to create a riddle with those two words and read them to each other. If they could make their classmates laugh, they received a sticker. So I gave them some sort of incentive. Do you feel that students do best using incentives sometimes? How do you feel about their writing? Do you feel that they could come up with rhymes on their own in your classroom? I think this is a really good assignment because it assesses whether the students can rhyme on their own. They have been rhyming, for example, we use Haggerty. They rhyme through Haggerty, but can they do it on their own? And I think this is a good assignment to use in a classroom. Some of them did come up with some things. El pato pisó el gato. Un pez se queda atrás por un mes. La medusa le gusta la blusa. These are things they came up with, which made me very proud. And they have a little picture. So here's two examples. I was able to see who can write, who can rhyme, and the pictures made their examples come to life. I have a jellyfish with a t-shirt on. So it made me really proud, but I think it gave them also a sense of pride. Thank you for taking the time to follow me through this process. This is an exciting adventure for kindergartners, and I hope you enjoy it as well. I hope you do use it in your classroom. I will be posting the reports if you would like to download them, and the website is on there if you would like to get them as well from there. I translated into Spanish, so if a bilingual teacher would like them, that would be great. I hope you enjoy this video, and thank you once again.